Hello, it's John Heaton, and welcome to Lake Balaton, where the sun is shining. In Hungary this year we basically skipped spring because at Easter it was snowing, and then a couple of weeks later it was weather like this, and it's superb. So just before I start this video, I'd like to give a shout out to, I think I pronounced his name right, Mike Puccelli, who does some superb, and this channel was recommended to me by one of my subscribers, thank you. I think it was Yellow Man Gonzalez. He does superb videos on the electric guitar, teaching you how to do various Beatle parts and also Hendrix and others. Just really educational. Even if you don't play the guitar, it's fascinating to watch. The guy is a complete master of this instrument, and very interesting the way he breaks down the technicalities of that. So I apologize in advance if this video and others where I'm discussing musicianship is not that kind of thing, because I do play a bit of piano, but I'm not familiar with all the theory behind the music and maybe the technicalities. But this video is going to be about ABBA, and I'm going to concentrate. There's a few things about ABBA which could maybe merit separate videos, because I think their overall sound is just majestic, and when one tries to break it down, it's a bit like trying to break down Brian Wilson's masterpiece Pet Sounds or something like that, because it's built up of many different parts recorded separately, and apparently they started off with the backing track, and not just Bjorn on guitar and Benny on keyboards, who play great parts, but also these great unheard of members of ABBA, bona fide members of ABBA, such as Roger Goodnison on bass, and I think it's Ola Plunkett on drums. So you can make a separate video on the musicianship, the backing track, and the melodies in themselves are superb. The production, very clear, very crisp. But this video is going to focus on the backing vocals of Bjorn and Benny primarily, although backing vocals often were contributed by all four of them. And also I'm going to talk about Bjorn's lead vocals, because he did feature a bit over the years. So let's start off, let's go through their career chronologically, and I'll pick out a few highlights of either Bjorn's vocals or where I feel the backing vocals are completely essential, and I think they would become subconsciously essential to the ABBA sound. And it would be interesting if one could isolate, if you could play ABBA tracks with just Agnetha and Frida singing without Bjorn and Benny. It would be interesting to see if it would have the same weight, because I don't think it would. Although obviously Agnetha and Frida vocals are absolutely central to ABBA. I'm not going to take even one thing away from their superb performances over the years, and maybe I'll do a video on their vocals. But just on Bjorn's vocals, in the early days he would feature as a lead vocalist fairly often. Early songs such as People Need Love and He Is Your Brother have a superb line sung by Bjorn, and maybe at that stage they hadn't decided that they wanted to thrust the girls up front, because after all Bjorn and Benny wrote the songs, so they probably thought, well, we can sing them, and then gradually they realized that the voices of Agnetha and Frida were more magical, so they took center stage. But those early songs, both of those songs I mentioned, made it onto ABBA's greatest hits, and completely worthy of that collection, because they're really catchy, happy-go-lucky, fun early numbers. Perhaps less successful as an earlier track like I Saw It in the Mirror, where Bjorn is featured on lead vocal, not that memorable. But also on that first album, track called I Am Just a Girl, which has a glorious melody, in which the girls take the lead, but you can hear, I'm presuming it's Bjorn, maybe Benny as well, singing an octave lower, singing the melody, and that was to become the signature tune of many a song over the years from ABBA, to have Bjorn's vocal just singing the same line but an octave lower. Very effective combination. Moving on to their second album, Waterloo, I think I've got it right where these tracks came from, because I'm not that familiar with the early albums, but it's a track called Another Town, Another Train. It's just a superb melody, and Bjorn is singing the softly spoken verse, and then the girls join him on the chorus. And that song again made it onto Greatest Hits, and is up there with the songs on that collection. It's just a beautiful song, and I don't think it was much of a hit single, but could easily have been. And you've got less successful on like Dance While the Music Still Goes On, but on that album Honey Honey, that great line from Bjorn in the middle, don't want to hurt you baby, don't want to make you cry, just brilliant counterpoint to the girls on the verse, and just brilliant. And Hasta Mañana on that album, another good example of where Bjorn and Benny's vocals back up the main tune an octave lower. We'll move on to this third album, and I brought a few album covers with me to ballot on without the records, didn't want to get them warped in the sun. But this album, the third album, ABBA, has a track called Rock Me, in which Bjorn shares the lead with Agnetha and Frida. It's not that memorable, to be honest, but on this album, I Do, Mamma Mia, again, Bjorn's vocals essential to the overall mix. It'd be interesting to know how much Benny's actually singing on these tracks. Certainly in the videos he's singing, but he was never given a lead vocal, so that makes me think that maybe Bjorn's voice is the stronger of the two, but he is credited with vocals on the albums, I think, or at least on Wikipedia. So let's see if he's credited on here or not. It doesn't actually say, but certainly in the videos he's singing, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Probably the highlight of this album from a backing vocals point of view is So Long, which was also on Greatest Hits, and it's just brilliant. And the backing vocals are just outrageous and really fun and work well. So let's skip to Arrival now, and we have probably Bjorn's greatest solo moment, Why Did It Have to Be Me? This is easily his best solo vocal, or maybe along with Another Town, Another Train. Just an infectious rocker, thumping chug-along rocker, and they did this in concert in Australia very successfully. I think it was in their set list for a while, not forever, but because they did drop it, I think, in 79 or maybe 80 on their last tour, I think. But a popular live number, and brilliantly performed on this album. And great middle eight where Agnetha and Frida take over the I Was So Lonesome, I Was Blue. So great track, really underrated, this one. And then I just want to pick up the example of Knowing Me, Knowing You, because this is where backing vocals almost become a counter melody in themselves. And you see it in the video, you know, Agnetha and Frida going Knowing Me, Knowing You, Aha from Bjorn and Benny, There's Nothing We Can Do. This time, you know what I'm talking about, This Time I Have to Go, This Time I Go. Just brilliant counterpoints to the melody, and just superb. When I'm Kiss the Teacher, other great backing vocals, which you can see them singing along in the video of that song. Brings us to the album. Name in the Game, I think, is the one I'm going to point out here, because I Was an Impossible Case. Those backing vocals, I think I can see in your face, but it means a lot. It's just another counter melody to the chorus, and very effective. And then I'm going to cover Voulez-Vous, which was Bjorn's rocky Does Your Mother Know, which was a hit single. And it's okay, it's just not a big favourite of mine. Kisses of Fire, backing vocals at the end, when Bjorn, at the end of the song, almost during the fade out, where Bjorn comes in with I'm on the point of no returning. Just brilliant. Summer Night City, the single from that era, which is not on Voulez-Vous. Again, Bjorn is almost singing the lead in the Summer Night City section, and then Agnetha and Frida take over, and it's very effective. We'll move on to Super Trooper next, which is this album, came out in 1980, and backing vocals here, I want to point out The Winner Takes It All in the fade out at the end. So the winner Takes it all, that bit, echoing the melody of the piano intro beautifully, and obviously made for a very effective video and a smash single. But those backing vocals are an essential part of the song, and it's just a wonder to behold. Andante, one of the album tracks on here. Me and I, again, great use of Bjorn and Benny singing an octave lower on Me and I. And then moving to their final album, The Visitors, which is highly underrated. It's quite dark and moody, and I'll probably do a separate review on these other ABBA albums, which I haven't reviewed yet. But I just want to point out two things from this album. One, a bit of a negative comment from me, because Two for the Price of One is probably Bjorn's weakest lead vocal in ABBA's career, and weakest lyrically for sure. I don't know what he was thinking writing a lyric like this. It's not an enjoyable track, and rather forgettable, dismissible, should we say. But on the positive side, the title track, The Visitors, wonderfully atmospheric build-up from the girls singing the verse, and then the cracking up section led by Bjorn. And I wish they'd made a video of this song, but I don't think they did, because it wasn't a single, though it could easily have been. So that's that. So just wanted to point out this slightly overlooked aspect of ABBA's recording career there. Bjorn's vocals and Bjorn and Benny's very inventive and enjoyable backing vocals. So thanks for watching. See you next time.